You're fine?
Okay, it's unmuted.
Perfect. Good afternoon and welcome to the Chouteau County Library Board of Trustees meeting. If you ladies haven't, please grab an agenda at the door so you can follow along and see the places for public comment. I call this meeting to order at 12:03. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda, ladies? Okay. Is there any public comment? Please remember all comments are limited to 3 minutes. Please step up to the microphone at the end of the table here, I'm sorry, and state your full name before you comment. Please remember only 3 minutes, and these are comments on items on the agenda, please.
I'm Mary Ingen, the Assistant Director of the library. And I don't understand why the library board is being weird about job descriptions. Random subcommittee meetings with no public comment and the director isn't allowed to participate is very strange. Subcommittee meetings fall under open meeting law. You have to have an agenda, you have to have public comment. The public is always allowed to share their thoughts on any discussion being made. There should be minutes and the director should be allowed to explain any issue that may come up. My question is why? Why go to all this trouble? To whose benefit is this? Are you asking staff about what we do every day? Cause I haven't been talked to. And it doesn't make sense for the board to write job descriptions for all staff, especially when staff input does not seem to be welcomed. I understand that the board is alarmed at the length of descriptions, but that's how job descriptions are. And that is how much the library director does, and that is how much I do. Back in 2021, I was interim director. I wanted to update the job descriptions, and because they did not accurately reflect everyone's position. And with the hiring of a new director, they needed to be done. At an all-staff meeting, I asked everyone to take their current job description and make notes so that they could be updated for accuracy. Ultimately, this went nowhere. I told the board that the director and assistant director positions needed updating because the duties assigned to the director were far too great for one person to do competently. I requested that some of those roles become the assistant directors, at least until the director could become more acclimated. In the 4 years since the original plea for updated job descriptions, a few attempts have been made with staff. I will not go into personnel issues, but obviously these attempts were futile. A separate request to review job descriptions was made semi-recently. Emily took existing descriptions from Mako, the state library, and other libraries. The only problems I see with these are 1, the length, and 2, the accuracy. In regards to length, that's what they should look like. That's the length of the examples Emily took from. When it comes to the accuracy of the descriptions, the issue should be discussed further in an executive session as it concerns personnel. However, I will say that I will not be reducing my job duties just because a few people aren't happy that I do them. I will not let my hard work be undermined because a few people don't understand what my job is. I will not let my advanced degree be diminished because some people feel threatened by it. I will never discount experience over education, but I have both. I am very good at my job and I'm not going anywhere. The board has to work with the director, not against. Please let her speak. It is not only illegal, but rude to do otherwise. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. All right, are there any other public comments on items on the agenda?
Sissy Felton, and I only have one question. Where are the commissioners involved in all of this since they are responsible for the invoice?
They are
invited.
Janet, we don't respond. Thank you. Thank you, Sissy. All right, any other comments? All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes for the August 27th, 2025 meeting or the financial reports for August 2025? We've had time to look over that, so.
I emailed Emily asking, what spurred the overtime and how Fort Benton's overtime is tracked in the financials.
So yes, in a pay period that was the end of July, beginning of August, there was a miscommunication in scheduling So that resulted in over $100 in overtime. In Big Sandy. And so I had talked to Cheryl before last year, and really we don't budget for overtime. The only departments, in my understanding, that budget for overtime is like roads or snow plows, things like that. So hopefully moving forward, that won't be an issue. It's just not, Fort Benton's is not listed on here, because if there was no activity in that line item, then it's not on that for the personal services, and that out of 100, 141, 142, and 143.
Okay.
So Fort Benton employees usually try to balance the schedule or take comp time instead of overtime. So that's in vacation instead of.
I think you've had quite a few conversations with the girls about that, and they're understanding.
Yeah.
What you're looking for and.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions or changes or additions? Yeah, did you want longer to look through?
I just have. Just a second.
Mhm.
I actually did them online. I just look over the percentages. And then compare them.
Okay. Could I have a motion to accept the August 2025 meeting minutes and the financial reports? To accept them as they are?
I make a motion to accept the August 27th meeting, August financial reports.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any more discussion, ladies? And then public comment? Okay, all in favor of accepting the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, okay. We'll move into branch reports. Nona, I thought I heard you say you have Big Sandy's.
Yeah, she, okay. She was very busy and she says sometimes the Zoom doesn't work. Summer reading was winding up, winding down. And I started getting the library back in order. Big Sandy was getting ready for the Chouteau County Fair and back to school. Displays were books we love and nature and exploration. The activities that were continued through the month were make and takes, art hour, and Legos. The spice of the month, was cinnamon.
Thank you, Nona. Fort Benton's.
For August, our themes displays were back to school, prairie, savannah, safety, manners, fairy tales, horses, books versus movies, judge a book by its cover, and book face. So those were books that had the main graphic was a face on the cover. Our projects included reorganizing after summer reading and planning for the school year and fall programming.
And is Sammy Joe available for Geraldine?
Yep, I'm here.
Thank you.
Geraldine's themes for August were back to school and new books. And then for projects, I have been working on a more than books library, which would entail or does entail cake pans and cookie cutters that have started to come in via donation. Also some small electronic items such as DVD player and CD player.
Thank you, Sammy Joe. I appreciated that was in the newsletter and getting to see that.
Yes.
As that's part of our strategic plan. So that's exciting that you're getting going on that.
Yep.
All right, we'll move into director report.
So on September 15th and 16th, I attended the Montana State Library fall workshop for directors and trustees. There was a lot of good sessions. It was very much one that you got a lot more from it being there. I do not believe that they were recorded, but the speaker, she spoke 4 different times. There was about expectations, clear communication, boundary setting, how different people have different capacities for things, stress planning, emotion, burnout, all of those kinds of different things. It was good to be able to talk to different directors from around the state. And then I wanted to let the board know that I received an email from Jenny Stapp today that the public library standards are complete and our system will be receiving state aid for this fiscal year. And the elevator, everything that the board approved has been fixed and it is up and running now. They were able to get in much, much earlier than they had anticipated, so that was great.
Wonderful, thank you. Anything else?
That is all that I.
Okay. Moving into announcements and dates to remember, Emily, I think, would you mind talking about the September 29th discussion that's coming up in the library that you told me about? I think it's in the paper as well.
Yeah,
I don't know
so
that all of our
Clem-
board is aware.
Clem Pellet is going to be here. He is an author. I think that he's Bob Pashaw's cousin, maybe, or something, but it's a book that he wrote. His grandfather was murdered outside Big Sandy, and so he had been at the Grand Union either late May or early June. But there wasn't a lot of, I don't think, advertising at that point, and I had a number of people reach out, and he and I connected, so he'll be back on the 29th to give an author talk.
How do you spell his last name?
Pellett.
Yeah, thank you for organizing
What
that.
time was that?
5:30.
That's what I thought.
And we have a copy of his book here available for checkout. I don't know if it's up there right now, but we have one, and Big Sandy has one also.
Okay, and then October 2nd is our Pathfinder meeting. It's here in Fort Benton. That's from 9:30 to noon is the meeting, and then 1 to 2 is training.
There's gonna be 2 separate trainings this year. One for directors and then one for trustees.
And I'll talk about that later, but that's something to keep in mind. I will be your not a proxy, your person for that. And then October 6th, ladies, please write that down. That is our training day with the foundation. That's from 9 a.m. to noon with Adam Jesperson. And I think we have that itinerary, don't we, Emily, that we could send out?
Yes, I can send that out.
Thank you. And then the last thing is all branches of the Chouteau County Library System will be closed on October 13th in observance of Indigenous Peoples' Day. Okay, are there any other announcements or dates that I missed or that you have to add, ladies? Okay, moving into unfinished business, we're gonna go into policy review. First up is the gift policy.
Did you bring that, Jenna?
Yeah. I didn't make coffee.
Oh. Don't make copies.
That might be beneficial to have. Unless you want us to just review them and bring it back next.
Yeah, it's supposed to review, I have to look at them. So.
It was last approved on December 7th of 2022. And there might be 2 separate, one is just the policy and then one has basically a receipt that includes the policy and then a signature of people.
Next meeting.
Okay.
Why didn't I know that? I packed so much this morning for the 2 hours.
It's on the website. Think
Should be.
Yeah, I have that. Oh, here it is.
I think Janet worked on it.
I did, I worked on it.
So did the committee work on it?
Yes.
We didn't work together though. correct?
No,
We were separate houses. Separate computers. There it is. Is there a log inside?
Many sources. The sources came from Montana, several of them, some from North Dakota, and also, I was able, my daughter lives in Oklahoma, and she got me some of the information from there.
Piggybacking on that discussion, Emily, you said these are the current donations.
From the last
Yes.
month.
Yeah.
And so Geraldine got 4 or 5 or 6 boxes.
Oh, that's what this is.
That's all of everything that has come in since the last meeting,
Oh, okay.
And you get easily 1,000 items a
depending on the,
month. Does it seem pretty steady, or is it kind of like people clean out a house and you get a big influx, or?
it's pretty steady.
Especially if they have the, you know, when they have when the county extension works. Oh, not this second page.
Awesome.
Yeah, not that one. Sorry, I had it hooked together to give a page to you. I'm sorry. Okay.
We're going from one paragraph to
Mhm.
2 pages.
Ladies, I'm gonna suggest, since this is quite a bit longer, that since we're just getting this, that we take the whole month and review this again in October. Instead of wasting our time trying to go over all of that, not wasting our time, but let's not take time to edit and look through this. Could we please discuss this at our next meeting, since it's so drastically different and quite a bit longer? And then we'll move on to the bylaws.
I have it separate.
Okay.
And were you able to go over that, Louise?
No. The bylaws, there was one that I needed your help with when you just.
We did it, yes.
Okay.
We didn't get them done.
Okay,
We got the first part, but I know there was a separate part that was already done previous to it. The first part where you talk about the commissioners.
oh, the amendment, but Emily had added that from our last meeting. You had had that added, that should be in
So,
there
yeah,
already.
then
That should be in.
It already was,
Yeah.
in the previous copy that we received. Didn't we have a new copy printed at last meeting, and that was in there?
okay.
It's not it's not online yet, that amendment, but it is it was in our packet from last
Okay.
meeting.
Then it should be exactly. We did the corrections. Actually, that we talked about at the last meeting. So yes, they are on there then. The one I received talked about having a committee. And I didn't think we had a committee, because the commissioners just wanted all.
Right.
If
Yes,
that's
that was
what
the
was
amendment.
on this.
Amendment was no committee? Or there was a committee?
No.
No
No
committee.
committee, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Okay, well, that was my fault, because I didn't get the right information.
So we'll send those out the next one then too.
Okay, so we're gonna move forward then and then go
Yes.
on to the MOU with the
Mhm.
foundation.
Yep.
This is an action item. So please review that. I don't think there were a lot of changes from the last time. It was mostly
Did
editing.
include the
Yes,
cleanup. There was only technical words.
right.
Is it the foundation? No, it isn't that one. What is it?
The strategic, no,
Agreement between the Chouteau County Public Library and the Chouteau County Library Foundation. I included that into this.
I'll bring it back.
Oh. Okay,
And this does not look much different from when we saw it back in.
that's what I thought. I thought we
Was that
pretty
May?
much had agreement on that one. Okay.
We basically went off of the edits that we had talked about that day and Emily corrected that for us and then,
Okay.
the foundation also accepted it. So it's just up to us now.
Okay.
So do I have a motion to accept this agreement between the Phil County Library and the foundation?
Make a motion to accept the agreement that's between the Chouteau County Library and the Chouteau County Library Foundation.
Okay, is there a second to this?
I second.
And any more discussion? All right, is there any public comment? All right, all in favor of accepting the agreement? As it is shown here? Please say aye, sorry.
Aye.
And all opposed? All right. Moving into continuing education, I didn't get any emails, ladies, so I went ahead and wrote out a list of things that might be helpful. I was not able to attend the meeting like I thought with Emily on the 15th, as I was volunteering with the school at Heritage Days. And so I did talk with Corey, and there's a few on there that she said she would be willing to come here and chat with us about, or we could have a Zoom meeting with her, whatever works for us. These are just options, they're nothing we have to do, but there was one being an effective board, and there was another one, open meetings and public engagement. And then there's also one with Tracy Cook that was navigating performance and conversations with Grace. I'll make a copy of this and maybe so you can look into it and you can give me. If you say yay, nay, or we don't have to do any of it. There was also the legal topics with Chris Goss, one with children in the library, and then there was one yesterday that I didn't get to.
It was very good.
Yeah, listen to either, but that might be one that we could listen to independently and then come in beforehand, like 15 minutes and have a discussion.
Yeah, I have it on my list to do. I was
Yeah.
on yesterday.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the Pathfinder on October 2nd. That's from 1 to 2 with Corey Sloan. That's over to strategic planning, I believe. Even though we have ours done, I think there's always room for knowing more about it. And that would be an hour. If we could get 3 of us to be there together. We would just have to post that. But those are all options to consider. And of course, there's October 6th that we will be doing our training as well.
And we
So I
can do
think
these
there
on
was
Zoom.
something that Janelle suggested, and I thought that was really good too.
Right, and I have to get back together with Janelle. It's been hit or miss on us
Yeah.
coordinating our conversations together. So I can look into that more if that is something of interest.
I thought that was of interest.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, and then we're going into job descriptions. So this is our packet that the entire,
Oh, thank you.
that we've gone off of with the input that we've gotten from Emily and then from previous ones. I am gonna ask ladies, since this is once again a big packet, that we will look over them in the next month and we will discuss them in depth in October.
Okay.
I wanted to give you time and I didn't have the time to get these done from our last meeting last week.
Okay.
So I apologize for that. That is my fault that I didn't get them to you ahead of time.
Good, thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank your committee. This is a lot of work.
And so then we'll move into policy review by legal. Emily had emailed me after the last meeting that I don't remember this conversation, so you guys can help me here. If we wanted to have our policies reviewed by Steve Gannon when we have the major draft of them done. Is that your idea there? Yeah.
Yeah,
So is that something we want to pursue?
I have had most of my review, but I haven't had this last one,
Sure.
okay? But I have taken them up to Steve's and I've left him at the office because I never get to visit with him. And then left a message to call me if there was any changes and he's never made any changes.
Sure. So do we want to make that a formal thing is what I'm asking, that we could
Sure.
have him review every policy? Is that what we would like to lean towards?
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that.
I think we should maybe follow up with Steve and just make sure he's,
Yes, and I
willing
can
to do that.
Yeah, I can do
Yeah.
that for sure. I'll check
Thank
with him. Then we can, I don't know that we actually have to have a formal vote on that. It can just be,
No.
fact finding.
yes. Oh, no, okay, and then next is our strategic plan review. I asked that we reviewed that. I think we had said that we would do that, and I have dropped the ball on having that brought to us not every month, but I think we talked about every other month.
I printed a copy of that for today's packet
Yeah, I
also.
pulled one out too when I saw we were having it on this meeting.
Discuss.
Yes,
Corey and I talked a little bit about this. She was the one that she had shared back. There was some highlights with some comments, to make some of these into more SMART goals. Like the first one, perform targeted outreach in the county, objective, communicate with Highwood residents on the best ways to offer public library, services. So if we need to make some action steps with that, and if you would like, I mean, that can be Jocelyn and I can do that. But there's, yeah, or grow collaborations, increase working relationships, like what that actually, some action steps,
sure.
but.
I specifically wanted to bring this up because of the interest that Highwood has shown currently in a possible, some kind of library there at the senior center. When we looked, that we had a couple patrons that were interested. So maybe that would be a good first step, is to look into, I think we had talked about at one point, did you say that
A
already?
survey?
A survey,
Yeah.
and
I
that's
know-
something we can discuss too.
Yeah, I know Lisa's.
And maybe Lisa would be the one
Yes, she's
to
been
also
talking, she talked to me about.
go into that.
She
Yeah,
was encouraged about doing this.
She was excited.
yes. But then I was also excited to hear that Sammy Joe was doing the Library of Things, which is great. And I think we've also talked about doing that here in Fort Benton. Have you had any more donations for that at all?
No, I've been helping Sam and Joe
Great,
get some things for hers.
okay. So yeah, we could totally work together for the SMART goals. If we need to expand on some of that, that would be fine with me.
With the Highwood, Emily, do you have ideas off the top of your head of what starting a branch library would take? Would it be software investment to have a checkout system? Or,
So it could very much look like what Carolyn currently does, at Front Range and the Bluffs. She's got the software on her laptop and has the scanner that she takes with her.
Mhm.
So that would be, I mean, we already have that kind of infrastructure in place,
okay,
so.
Which
So
would
it
be
could
a
be a
great
pretty quick-
starting point, right?
Yeah,
Like-
so for her to go, or for one of us to go.
so possibly it'd just be additional gas and staff time. Well, that'd be nice.
Well, and not even additional staff time, it would just be, it's like Carolyn's already here all day on Thursdays, so if it was something like that, or to shift that around.
Okay, just a set time to visit that
Yeah.
location and
Yeah,
see what feedback
see
is.
what the interest and how much time the community is interested in.
Nice.
Perfect. All right, was there anything else anyone wanted to discuss in regards to the strategic plan?
Yes, I can speak with DES about some of these that you're talking about, medical supplies and equipment. Because we do have, different areas that we have jump kits for, and I can see if I can get a jump kit for the library.
Thank you. Anything else in that? We'll move into schedule of future meetings. That was asked by Nona at last meeting. I did look over those and all of our board meetings fall on the third Wednesday. I looked over these with Emily, the third, Wednesday instead of the fourth. So I don't think that they will,
I thought they were always in the fourth.
so these ones were scheduled to, avoid the holiday.
That was on the
busyness.
calendar approved by the board in either January or
Right,
February.
Yes, they were.
So I think we can leave the meetings as is. It's the 19th and the 19th of November, and then you said the 17th of December. And that also coordinates well with, school being out, so we won't.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah, so we'll just leave that as is, I think.
And I think last year, we skip the December meeting or the January
We
meeting?
skipped 2 meetings.
We skipped two, but ended up having two special meetings because of the boiler.
Gotcha.
So we'll
and the
just keep
elevator, I think.
Mhm,
our meetings.
mhm, yes, okay.
And there's no new business listed. Do you have any new business we want to add?
No, I think we have some homework.
Yes. And Kim, you did email me about executive session. Were you interested in adding that
Yes,
for next session?
yes, I make a motion to add an executive session for next meeting to continue personnel discussion.
Is there a second? Okay, I'll second that. And all in favor of adding executive session to next meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed?
Um,
Say nay, please.
nay.
Okay, so we're at a neutral place right now.
Yes.
I think you might be the tiebreaker if you wanted to vote.
But it's still a tie.
She's two, she
I'm-
is
It's
saying.
2
Okay,
2 and 2.
Could we talk about what it is about?
well, in our previous executive session, we discussed personnel issues, so we talked about having executive session with the director to get her overview of personnel issues, and so we could have both sides of the story. I think it would be a mistake to listen to some staff and exclude others,
Agree.
possibly a legal mistake,
You always say that.
but either way, management, well.
Yes,
I
I
know
will
that it's
vote.
legal, but I do believe that we should have that discussion.
Okay, I'll change my vote.
I'll change the vote also.
Okay,
We do that?
yes, we will move ahead with executive session. In our October meeting.
Thank you for reminding me to so
Yes. I'm done. All right. This time I'll open public comment, items not on the agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the board. Once again, please remember you have 3 minutes and, please step up to the microphone if you do have something to say.
Cynthia Leddington. You are currently employing 3 of the most educated people to oversee the daily operations of the Chouteau County Library that have probably had it in the last 50 years. The director and the assistant director both have master's degrees in library science, and the clerk has a BS in education. I worked under 2 directors with no college degrees. One of them was a good director with a high school diploma. You seem to defer to each other when it comes to asking questions about the library at board meetings. Last month, a newer board member asked a question of a longstanding board member. When the director said she could address that question, she was told she was not being asked. Why wouldn't you let her answer the question, since she is at the helm of the library and could probably have given a detailed and complete answer? You are gathering together to write job descriptions for the staff. I'm wondering what you know about library job descriptions. Have you been spending time at the library to see what goes on and what the staff does on a daily basis? Do you have a book on library staff descriptions? All libraries differ somewhat, so I think that job descriptions for one library might not be suitable for another library. Perhaps it would be a good idea to talk to the staff and see what they do on a daily basis or in their individual jobs. You have qualified staff in place doing a successful job of guiding the county's 3 libraries. There are successful programs, the budget has not been abused, and buildings are well maintained. Your micromanaging and nano-managing are getting to be a bit much.
Thank you, Cynthia. Is there any other public comment?
Mine's actually, my name's Cynthia Calkins, actually kudos to all the boards. I and the library, because I just got out of a meeting with Montana Health Association group that I'm a part of. And we discuss buddy systems and if people during a disaster at home with oxygen tanks or stuff. And one of the things they asked me is, how do we know if someone's not around or anything? So I kind of threw the library underneath the bus. I said, because I know all of our libraries, if one of their patrons hasn't shown up, they contact the sheriff's department or somebody goes by and checks on them. And this is something I know this library does. I'm assuming that the other libraries do the same thing because people regularly come by. So that's going to be discussed at one of our healthcare associations, how important libraries are for the community. So.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Cynthia. Is there any other public comment?
Mayor Ingen, Assistant Director. I would just like to request for, I don't know how many times this is, but, for security cameras, one at each entrance of the library. There was another incident last week wherein I thought someone was hiding in the basement. And I'm the only one here often, especially when closing late at night. And so I'm not asking for them to be inside the library. I'm just asking for entrance, just so we can know if someone is inside and unaccounted for, and if someone is waiting, just around the corner. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Great. All right, thank you for being here today. Our next meeting will be on October 22nd, 2025 at noon. This is in Big Sandy, Montana. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to return.
And a second, please.
One second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, ladies. Thank you, Jessica.
Thanks.
Well, I apologize for the time.